Thanks for joining us today. Our guests are Kevin Craig from Keller Williams, a realtor in the metropolitan Phoenix area, and Kasey Ingram, who is also a realtor with Solutions Realty in the same area. A couple of experts on short sales, and we're going to talk about the short sale process today and some of the things that you need to be aware of. So I'll turn the time over to you, and you can enlighten us.
Okay, thanks, Evan. Well, I think most people that are watching this did not strategically think that they were going to be here at this point where they'd be learning a little bit more about short sales. I think most people end up in this situation because some type of unforeseen matter comes up, a financial hardship, loss of employment, or a reduction in pay. So when those kind of things happen, it's important for clients to understand what all of their different options are. We've got options as far as, number one, doing nothing. They can continue to live in their home, continue to make the mortgage payment if they're able to make the mortgage payment. They can go with a foreclosure or a deed in lieu of foreclosure. Either one of those are legal judgments against the individual and usually not the best case scenario. A bankruptcy, which Evan could certainly talk more about bankruptcy. But then the last option, or the most common option, is short sale. And a short sale is just a matter of allowing the bank to sell the property short of what is actually owed by the homeowner, which benefits the homeowner, it benefits the bank, it usually benefits all those involved. And it's not a complex process, but there are many moving parts, and that's what we want to talk a little bit about today. And now Kasey can talk a little bit about the short sale process.
With the short sale process, the sellers basically just need to prove hardship to the banks. So what the first process is you're going to gather up all of your financial data to provide to the bank. That will include tax returns, bank statements, pay stubs, a hardship letter, and then most lenders will require their own short sale application, such as Chase, Wells Fargo, they all have their own application. Once we get that submitted to the lender, they'll review your hardship, they'll do a BPO, which will determine the value of the property, and then once the value is determined, they'll go over everything and submit it to the investor, which lies behind the bank, and they'll determine if you have a sufficient hardship, and then they will give us approval if it's deemed sufficient.
Now, I got a question for you, though. Many people think that because they receive a notice of foreclosure, that the property is going to be auctioned at a trustee sale, that there's no possibility of doing a short sale. That's not necessarily true.
That's not necessarily true. If you get a foreclosure notice and we have enough time before the foreclosure, say a week, maybe 2 weeks, we can get a postponement as long as you have a valid offer, a good solid offer from a buyer. They will normally postpone a foreclosure sale. So not all hope is lost if there is a foreclosure sale date posted.
So not only does that avoid a legal judgment against them with the foreclosure, but it could also allow them to stay in the house a little bit longer.
Definitely. Yep. It could extend it out because the short sale process could take up to 3 months, and that will give you some time to stay in the house even while there is a foreclosure sale.
Now, Kasey, I know you worked in the short sale department of a bank before you started actively working with short sales on the other side of it as well, but both of you have a fair amount of experience with short sales. What percentage of the time are you successful in negotiating a short sale?
My personal success rate is around, I think, 95% at this point, maybe between 90 and 95%.
Okay.
Almost all do go through as long as there is a sufficient actual genuine hardship. Even when there's not a hardship, you can sometimes get a short sale approved. It just may require a cash contribution, some funds from the seller at closing, but more often than not, it can be approved without cash, and it's free at no cost to the homeowner because the bank will actually pay the commissions.
Okay.
So.
And Kevin, you've been doing this for a long time as well. Is that consistent with your experience?
Yeah, but unfortunately there's a lot of old news out there. A lot of people are dealing with what they heard from 2 and 3 years ago where it was more difficult to get a short sale done. There was a high percentage of fallout with doing a short sale. Banks weren't nearly as willing to work with clients as they are today. And now I think we're all seeing in the industry about 95% success rate. Those that don't qualify for a short sale are very few and far between, and it's usually because there's some type of an extenuating circumstance. The typical homeowner who is running behind in payments or finding themselves upside down has got a very good chance of getting the short sale to go through if they use the right professionals. There's still a lot of people out there that are trying to get into doing the short sale thing without really knowing how to do it properly, and by using good professionals that have done short sales, they've got a very good chance of getting it done.
Well, and that reminds me, I know we're asked many times about the tax ramifications of a short sale. And in particular, that when debt is forgiven, it turns into income, which has to be reported to the taxpayer, the borrower in this case. And Congress is trying to figure out what they're doing as far as debt forgiveness goes. But I think what taxpayers need to know is that no matter what happens at Congress's level, there's already provisions in the IRS code that cover, whether it's a personal residence or an investment property, the forgiveness aspects of it. And so if your taxes are done properly, then you should not end up paying any tax on the forgiveness of the debt. Whether you're using a Schedule D for an investment property or Form 982 or just a regular tax return if it's a sale of a personal property, as long as it's prepared properly, there won't be tax ramifications, negative tax ramifications to your short sale. So we find it's a really good solution in many cases for our clients from all dimensions, so long as the short sale is done properly, and that's where you guys have been very instrumental.
And you're stressing a good point that there is really good information out there. It's available through professionals like yourself, whereas those that are talking to their neighbor, sister's, cousin's brother are getting information to the contrary a lot of times, but they are not the professionals in the industry that they should be talking to.
So a good team, good information, and some persistence on the part of the professionals is what makes all the difference.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
A lot of follow-up.
Well, thank you.